Hello, friends. My name is Ismail Shahtakhtinsky. I'm the principal immigration attorney at IS Law Firm. We have learned about great news for Ukrainian citizens in United States who are here on humanitarian parole. As we know, since the war started in Ukraine, we had many Ukrainian citizens, refugees arrive at the southern border and enter the United States as parolees. So between February 24 until April 25, February 24 being the beginning, the start of the war, and April 25 being the date when the DHS came up with Uniting for Ukraine program. There was no program previously. So there was no parole program officially. So all the Ukrainian refugees all they could do is they could just arrive and try to enter the United States as parolees. The Customs and Border Patrol and USCIS, the entire Department of Homeland Security, worked proactively to allow those Ukrainian citizens to enter the United States and indicated DT in their status code when they entered, which meant parole, but that parole was valid for 1 year. So anybody between those who entered the US during those dates, between those dates, February 24 and April 25, they were allowed to remain for 1 year, which is about to expire, or in some cases, that might have already expired. So what the DHS did now, they announced that they will review proactively, meaning without anybody having to file any application forms or requests, the DHS will automatically review those paroles and extend them on case-by-case basis. The question comes up is, why is it case-by-case? And what that means, and typically what I say is that the DHS is reserving a right to deny extension of parole, and that's why they indicate case-by-case basis. So it doesn't mean that they will be discriminating or selecting one way or another. It just means that they will apply the same rule of extending to everyone unless they don't qualify for any reason. But because of the shortage of time, the DHS didn't want to have to go through the rule of identifying what are the reasons to deny someone extension. So that's why they wrote case-by-case basis. But I don't think anybody should be alarmed that their case may be denied. So the extension of this parole allows Ukrainian citizens in the US to remain in the US, continue remaining in the US, and continue being employed. One of the questions that we receive now is how to renew the humanitarian parole. What should those parolees, Ukrainian parolees, do to extend their parole? The answer is nothing at this point, because the DHS will do it themselves. You may be notified, or you may be approached by some scammers or people who don't know what needs to be done, or that nothing needs to be done, and they may be offering you to file a form I-131 and so on. Don't do it. You don't have to do anything. Just sit back and wait until your parole and EADs are extended. Now, how will you know that your parole and your EAD is extended? For parole extension, the USCIS the CBP will update your I-94. The I-94 is a document showing when you entered the US and which status or type of parole you had. The way you would obtain the I-94 is going online to the Customs and Border Patrol's website, and we will include the link below, and to verify that your parole has been extended. And that website will have your I-94. It will ask you passport information, your date of birth, and first and last name. And once you enter all that, then the CBP website will show you I-94. The I-94 will be updated according to DHS sometime by middle of April. So they say early April, which I usually believe it's middle of April, by middle of April. So you should go online and verify on that link, which we will again provide below, that whether your I-94 has been updated. If it has not been updated by mid-April, so I'd say April 15th. If you don't see it being updated, the Customs and Border Patrol provided an email address where they want you to email asking about your specific case. That email address will be also provided below in the comments, so you can email them. For your employment authorization document, it will be automatically extended, and the USCIS will send you a form I-797C. Don't worry about the form. What it means is that they'll just send you a notice saying that your EAD is automatically extended. What USCIS says that if you don't receive it by the end of April, you should email the USCIS, and the email address will be also in the links below. So you need to provide email. You need to email the USCIS if you don't receive the EAD notice in mail. Now, what if you changed your address? What if you arrived in the United States and you lived at one address, for example, your sponsor's address, now you live somewhere else? You must notify the USCIS of your change of address. You need to file change of address with the US government, and the link to do that is also going to be below. Even if your parole is not extended, or you're just in the United States, whether you're paroled or you have temporary status or TPS, you still need to notify the USCIS, and the rule is within 10 days. You need to file change of your address with the USCIS, and the link for change of address is going to be below. One of the questions is whether the parole renewal will apply to those who applied for TPS, waiting for TPS, or those who already have TPS. Now, the abbreviation TPS stands for temporary protected status. So as the name suggests, TPS is a status. So that means if you have TPS, then you don't have parole anymore. Parole is only if you don't have TPS. So I don't anticipate. Now, these are all theoretical because the parole extension hasn't started. They haven't notified. Now, whether it's possible that the DHS will, send parole, maybe they're not going to connect the two, that you entered as parolee, but then you filed for TPS, you may have TPS. You may still get a notice of the extension because, as we know, the USCIS is not as effective. But generally, if you're on TPS, you are on TPS, you don't need parole. And TPS expiration date is going to be October of this year, but it's widely expected. It would be very strange to me if not, they will extend the TPS. I truly believe that TPS will be extended, and the DHS has to announce it pretty soon. I believe it's 6 months or 3 months before the expiration. The DHS must announce whether the TPS will be extended or not, and it's widely expected to be extended. We'll post a link also to the website to the article where we included all this information, everything that is available for Ukrainian refugees, including the possibility of applying for asylum and what would be the basis or what to expect. Please follow our channel, hit like, and review our website's page on Ukrainian refugees. And thank you very much for listening.